Aloha Freeman Tigers, I've got another weaving video for you. This was originally engineered more for younger students, kinder and first. However, older students can do this as well and add complexity to it. So I'm going to give you the basics, and if you are in third, fourth, fifth, second, you can definitely add to this some really complex and have some fun with this. So I'm going to show you my materials and we're going to get started. So you need, let me push that down just a little bit more. Okay, so you need 2 pieces of paper at least. Okay, preferably colored paper or at least white and colored, but it doesn't actually matter. You can use white paper and pre-color a design on it. So this is where the older grades can definitely have some fun. You can paint, you can draw, you can do any kind of really interesting design on your papers ahead of time. You just need 2. So our first paper, you also need a ruler or some sort of straight edge that will give you an even width. This is going to kind of be your barrier. As you get older, you can play with your edging a little bit, but with younger students, you kind of need that stop zone. Some sort of writing utensil to help you out, and a pair of scissors. The tape is not needed unless you really want it. Glue is also optional. Definitely something you can choose to use if you want. So the very first step, ladies and gentlemen, you have to fold it in half. So if you notice, I have my paper vertical in front of me. My short ends are on either side, in front and at the bottom, top and bottom. So I'm going to fold it over, try to make it even. Okay, that's a start. Now, here's the thing. I want the fold to my belly button. Okay, the fold to my belly button. The open ends away from me. I'm going to hold it down. I'm going to take my ruler. I'm going to line it up on the edge so I can still see the edge of my paper, and I'm going to take my ruler as close to that as possible. I'm going to hold it down with my hands and then make a line across. Okay. I know that you can't see that very well. I'll go over it with a marker just so you can see. This is what I'm going to call my stop zone. From here, I'm going to draw vertical lines. I can add as many as I want. For kindergarten, we normally have 8. Okay, you do not want your sections to be too thin though. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So normally I want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 8 sections, I think. Well, it doesn't matter. Either way, it's not going to hurt me. Okay. Now I'm going to cut. So remember that stop zone. That is where I'm going to stop. Now, again, my fold is to my belly button. Don't forget that. That's super important when you're doing this. I'm going to hold on my fold. The open end is away from me. When I take my scissors, I've got big scissors. Hopefully you're not using big scissors. I'm going to put my paper, the fold, all the way to the center of the scissors. And I cut and stop when I get to the top. Cut. Stop at the top. And I'm going to keep doing that until I get all of my lines cut. Okay, now if I did it right, when I open it up, all my pieces are still attached, but if I were to turn it, it almost looks like a lantern, doesn't it? Okay, you can flatten that out. If I do not want my lines to show, I can flip it over and work from this side. So that's the first part. This is making your loom, okay? This is your loom. The next part is making what you're going to weave. Now, if my loom is this way, then this paper needs to kind of be this way as well, because I want my paper to go that I'm going to weave with to be the same width as my loom. Okay, so I'm going to take this, I'm actually going to turn it horizontal now. I can draw my lines or I can just cut it. I can have them thick or thin. I can use a ruler to make my lines. I can draw them out. So this is my older students. This is where you can get complicated. You can do straight lines, you can do zigzags, you can do wavy, you can do all kinds of really neat stuff with these lines. So I'm going to do a couple of straight. Couple of zigzag and wavy. Okay, you can make them as thick and thin as you want. Now remember, cutting wavy and zigzag is more challenging than straight lines. So for kinder, I normally do straight lines, but if you get good at this and you want to try something else, you certainly are welcome to up your difficulty challenge. Okay. I'm only going to cut 2 at a time. Now I know that I have a video, so I'm going to turn these horizontal or back to the same size as this. So if this is vertical, these are going to be this way. Now I have a video that shows that when you cut, you should put them in the same order that you cut. So for older students, if you want to do zigzag or wavy, you want to get a little more complicated, it's a suggestion. The truth is, this is your artwork. You choose how you want to handle it. So, with my first strip, I can start at the top of my paper, I can start at the bottom of my paper, it does not matter. So I'm going to go over the first one, and then where it's cut, go under, over, under, over, under, over, under, over. So if you notice, it has kind of a checkerboard pattern. But whatever I start with over here, I'm going to do the opposite for the next one. So I'm going to start under. I was over here. I'm going to go under, over, under, over, under, over, under, over, under. So you really do get that checkerboard pattern going on. Okay. Now some teachers will tell you, oh, you don't want any on the outside here. You can use this as part of your frame. That's up to you. This is just fine to me because otherwise I might, and I'm talking about me personally, I might forget in my over or under. So I'm going to cut my next 2. I did zigzag, and no, you do not have to draw these out ahead of time. It just can be helpful. So older students, if you want to give yourself an extra little challenge, you're certainly welcome to. Okay. So I was under here. Now I'm going to be over, under, over, under, over, under, over, under. Okay. With my next one, I'm over here. I'm going to go under, over, under, over, under, over. Now, zigzags get complicated because they're an odd shape, just letting you know. So even I have to be careful. And shift it down. So you can see that has kind of a different look to it, doesn't it? I'm going to do the wavy lines. I only have room for a couple more strips. Remember, you don't have to put these in order. It was a suggestion. Okay, so I was under here. Shift it over a little bit. I'm going to go over. Push it down so it's all nice and tight. And my last little section, and believe it or not, this may actually be too big, but that's okay. We'll figure it out. So I'm over here. I'm going to go under. Ooh, this might be a tight fit. And if it is, I can choose to go back and make my boundary a little bit bigger if I want. If I want to extend it, that is my choice. This is definitely a challenge. Might have to do that. I'm going to gently. By the way, scissors are super handy, but you can still have the same effect by tearing just a little bit. So don't feel like you have to use scissors even on these pieces, especially on these pieces. You can really have some fun with it. Yep, I just needed a little extra wiggle room. Okay, and there we go. There's the weaving. I tried straight lines, zigzag lines, wavy lines. You choose, and from here you can add even more details. So if you pre-design these, it'll look really neat. If you don't, you can go back and add details to these. This is where you could be using doodling skills. So it is a lot of fun. You can enjoy doing a lot of expressive designs here. So I would love to see pictures of any of your weaving that you attempt this week. Have fun, and aloha, y'all.